Hello, my name is Ghida Jwaida, and for today I'll be presenting about Alphabet Inc. Now, due to technical issues, this is the only way I can actually present. Okay, some background history. Now, Alphabet Inc. originally started as Google in the year 1998 before it became Alphabet in 2015. The original CEOs, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, decided to make it into Alphabet Inc. in order to make Google business ventures more transparent to their consumers and users, and because they wanted to delve into different tech businesses and industries, and Alphabet Inc. was the suitable solution. Now, currently, the CEO of Alphabet Inc. is Sundar Pichai. The headquarters are in Mountain View, California, in Silicon Valley, which is the hub of tech development and inventions. They currently have more than 160 subsidiaries and counting, and more than 156,000 employees. Now, because it originally started as Google, there are a lot of similarities between Google and Alphabet Inc. They have, for example, the supply chain management was so efficient in Google that it was carried over to Alphabet Inc. And they also have a similar mission. Alphabet Inc.'s mission is to make the world around you universally accessible and useful. And Google's mission is to make information universally accessible and useful. Their vision is empowering great entrepreneurs and companies to flourish and invest in a scale of opportunities. And these mission and vision statements are clear, concise, easy to understand, and communicate to their employees. In terms of values, Alphabet and Google's values are similar. They value agility, by customer, I mean customer service, customer loyalty, and customer feedback, collaboration, communication, integrity, performance, accountability, and trustworthiness. Now, the financial results based on the 10K report that was published by Alphabet Inc. The main changes or the main cause of changes from the year 2019 to 2021 to the financial results is due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The cash provided by operating activities, revenue, and net income increased due to the increase on traffic. More people started shifting to online work, online studies, and due to lockdown, online entertainment. Because of that, there is an increase in cash. As for net cash use in investing activities, well, mainly hmm, Alphabet Inc. didn't really invest in physical events and marketing events. They mainly focused on online, and that's because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So they didn't have to spend as much. They have also spent money acquiring marketable securities instead of selling marketable securities. As for financial activities, they have increased their spending on equipment and machinery in order to keep up with the demand. This is especially in 2021 after they had issues keeping up with the demand in 2020. In terms of stock, Alphabet stock has been increasing over the past 5 years with a rapid increase from the years 2019 to 2022. There has been an increase after 2022 as seen because life is sort of getting back to normal. People want to be offline for a while, but there are a lot of workplaces that preferred online as opposed to offline. So it is expected that there will be kind of like a stability or an average price for their stocks after things go back to normal. In terms of who, what, and how, now who can benefit from Alphabet Inc? Basically, entrepreneurs and anyone with an internet connections. Consumers with internet connections can use Alphabet for Alphabet businesses for entertainment, for example, YouTube, or communication like chats, or something like searches like Google search. They have the largest search engine. Entrepreneurs will benefit from Alphabet's business advertisement. Alphabet is leading in online advertisement. So if an entrepreneur wants to succeed in the business and do online advertisement, they will have to resort to Alphabet businesses. As for what they provide, Alphabet Inc. has a wide and diverse portfolio of businesses. It all falls under the tech umbrella, but they are all different businesses. They deal with AI, fiberglass, as well as Calico, which is invested in technology that medical technology that deals with the longevity of humans, YouTube, Chrome, Android, and so on. As for how that's due to the efficient value chain of Alphabet Inc. Now, in terms of supply chain management, like I said, because Google had such an efficient supply chain management system, it was carried over to Alphabet Inc. And now Alphabet Inc. has more than 200 suppliers in order to provide them with their materials. In terms of operation, Alphabet Inc. is headquartered in Silicon Valley, but they have research and development centers as well as offices all over the world in Asia, in the Middle East. Distribution wise, Alphabet Inc. doesn't really have a lot of physical stores, barely any. They mostly focus on online retailing and e-commerce. By that I mean they use Google Play Store to sell their games, Google Store to sell Chromecast devices, and Android website to sell their Android devices. In terms of sales and marketing, Alphabet has a diverse and mixed marketing strategy. However, they are currently limited to online marketing as opposed to physical, live marketing, having events and getting live customer feedback face to face. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they are expected to return to having live events after things have come. And finally, in terms of services, they highly value customer feedback. That's why they have implemented live chat. They get the feedback, they utilize it and improve their customer services. And this is seen in the updates they do in their softwares. Every once in a while, they have updates, maybe every couple of months, in order to improve the services for the customers. As for the support activities and cost, in terms of product R&D, technology and system development, they invest a lot in R&D and system development and their products. In terms of R&D, like I said, they have offices all over the world in order to gather as much intel and to be able to understand their consumer base. As for human resource management, they highly value their workforce and constantly strive to provide a mentally and physically safe work environment in which they can have an environment that supports creativity and innovation. As for general administration, they have a good administrative system. Basically, the tech infrastructure they have in their company enables them to have good data management and knowledge management and a general administration system that's automated to keep up with the changes that's happening in their various subsidiaries, as well as changes in the tech world, trends, and so on. Now, declared corporate strategy. Declared corporate strategy for Alphabet Inc. is concentration and horizontal growth. They mainly focus on growth via acquisition of companies and mergers. There is vertical growth, but horizontal growth compared to vertical growth, they have much more horizontal growth, horizontal integration. Now, as for resource-based views, they have tangible, intangible, and human resources. Tangible resources, they have a lot of money. They have cash and cash equivalents amounting to $142 billion and 74 billion in liquid assets. They also have land, equipment, service, computers. These are physical, tangible assets. They also have their various data centers spread all over the world in order to meet with the demand. As for intangible assets, there is the reputation and brand image. Their brand is so well known to the extent that if you want to search something, you don't say, I'm going to research it, you say, I'm going to Google it. They created a new verb. So when you say, I'm going to Google it, you automatically, mentally, you're associating it with Alphabet Inc. They also have good employee work culture that encourages creativity and innovation. And human-wise, human resource-wise, they try to support employee work-life balance by making the office environment physically comfortable. Instead of having cubicles, they make it more open in order to encourage the flow of creativity and innovation. And in terms of hiring their human resources and employees, they have a meticulous hiring process in order to make sure that the people they're hiring have the needed KSAs to drive the success of the company. Again, now Organizational capabilities. They overcame external factors. External factors, in this case, I mean the pandemic. Now, lots of industries have actually experienced a loss because of the pandemic. However, Alphabet Inc. actually thrived and experienced a boom due to the nature of industry they deal with. And they also keep up with the tech trends, have financial power. As for key success factors, they are having a culture that promotes innovation, especially important in the tech industry, staff consensus, collaboration, information management, mutual trust, and manager support. I won't explain a lot because I've explained these points previously, especially in the human resource aspect, and for the sake of time. In terms of strategy, like I said, they have a horizontal integration and they have acquired from 2016 to 2020 58 new companies, and they continue to do so. In 2021, they acquired 22 companies. As for competitive advantage, they have a financial advantage, trust more and less control. By that, I mean that that Alphabet Inc. trusts the assigned CEOs of their subsidiaries to perform well and up to standard and in accordance with the mission, vision, and values of Alphabet Inc. They also have good technology infrastructure, which is the entire basis of Alphabet Inc. Without good infrastructure, they won't be able to organize their data. They won't be able to have a good service to provide their services and data centers to avoid lagging. And the distribution, it's also a competitive advantage because online distribution, it's much more efficient than physical stores in terms of cost effectiveness, not paying rent, and being more global. Now, competitive profile matrix. These are Alphabet's competitors. So the biggest competitor for Alphabet Inc. at the moment is Microsoft. And Microsoft actually has the potential to overcome Alphabet, though that highly depends on the number of acquisitions and who is making more progress in AI and the 5G. As for environment, we have Pastel. Now, each of these had a different impact on the business. Right now, because of the 2016 election, there is doubt circulating in regards to the spread of information on Google and Alphabet businesses. There is a concern that because of the way Google spreads its information, it may have affected and influenced the 2016 election, and that can decrease the trust of Google. So far, as of making this presentation and writing this report, it's not dangerous right now. You're not using losing consumer base, but any decrease in trust can, in the long run, if it keeps on going, affect the brand image. There is also a pressure to keep the money in the US instead of having offshore accounts in order for them to pay income taxes. But that will mean a dip in the financial power, meaning that they will have to spend more in taxes. And because of the having offshore accounts, they can be easily affected by the exchange rate, the dollar exchange rate, the foreign currency exchange rate. This is especially important now considering the situation with Russia and Ukraine. If the exchange rate and the dollar is poor, that means that they will end up losing more money. Sociocultural-wise, there has been a decrease in traditional entertainment means such as television and decrease in things like streaming. Now, Alphabet property like YouTube has benefited greatly and Play Store in terms of online gaming, but that also means that the other substitutes like HBO Max, Netflix, and Disney Plus are also benefiting from them, and they can overthrow Alphabet Inc. if they don't try to fix a few issues with YouTube censorship being overly protective. In terms of technological, now, because the Alphabet Inc. is a tech leader, they are able to keep up with the tech advancement and tools. So even with the constant changes, they're good. But there is an increase in social media. Now, Alphabet has had history of failure in terms of social media because they always arrive too late. When they established Google Plus, Facebook has already been around for 7 years. And in terms of social media, usually in this industry, it's first come, first serve. If you don't have anything new to offer, it's going to fail. And that's what happened with Google Plus, and they dropped it. Environmentally wise, they're supporting eco-friendly resource um, trends at the moment, and if Alphabet were to implement it, it will be increasing their cost initially. If they do it in the long run, they will benefit in the long run. It will improve their brand reputation, but it will cost them a lot of money in the beginning. And finally, in terms of legislative, there is an antitrust law that's being pushed for in the US, and that law, if it is passed, it means that Alphabet Inc. and competitors will not be able to merge and acquire as many companies as they do now, and thus limiting their vertical and horizontal growth, vertical growth especially. Now, market environment, threat of new entries. Because of the high barrier of entry in the tech field, there is a low threat of new entry. As for bargaining power of suppliers, a lot of Alphabet's 200 plus suppliers, their main source of profits is Alphabet Inc. So they don't really have a lot of power. Alphabet has the upper hand here. Bargaining power of buyers. Now, Alphabet Inc. is one of the biggest, has one of the biggest search engine platforms, and because of that, the power of buyers, in this case the entrepreneurs that are purchasing digital advertisement and ads, they don't have a lot of more power, because the dominating one is Google and YouTube. So if they want to benefit from their services, if they want to benefit from online advertising, they will have to go to Alphabet. As for threat of substitute products, there is a threat because people are valuing things like privacy and such. We have new search engines like DuckDuckGo that ensure privacy. Right now, when you use Google, it actually saves the data and information, and the Alphabet Inc. has experienced cyber attacks and hackings before, so that information has been legally spread before, and so people are starting to look for alternatives and substitute. In this case, it is DuckDuckGo. Now, for the BCG matrix, the question mark is DeepMind. DeepMind, which is concerned in AI and emerging field, it requires a lot of investments, but it will pay off in the long run as the AI industry continues to develop. The star product for Alphabet Inc. is Google Maps. Google Maps, because there aren't really a lot of competitors in this case. Yes, it's very costly because it requires changes in languages, changes and accommodating to different areas and maps, but there's no competitors, and it is their star product. It's the mostly the widely used map application. The dogs are Google Plus and Google Glass. Google Glass, because of the physical inefficiency, it was annoying for consumers. There was no need for it, and it became a distraction. It was not what the consumers needed. In terms of Google Plus is Alphabet Inc.'s social media endeavor. It came too late. It wasn't able to keep up with the trends of social media. The cash cows for Alphabet Inc. are YouTube advertising and Google Ads. More than 81% of Alphabet Inc. revenue comes from advertising. Okay, it's good that's their cash cow. It's bad that they're kind of having all their eggs in one basket. If advertising goes down, the cash cow is dead. Now, the strength, I've already discussed them before in previous segments. They're pretty much the same. Weaknesses, there is the over-reliance on adverts, the security concerns, they have been hacked, have been cyber attacked before, they need to up the security there, and investment and acquisition mistakes. Alphabet Inc. employees are also human, and there are chances in which they make investment mistakes. An example of this is Google Plus. They invested in this technology and it was a failure and they had to drop it. Opportunities. Now, yes, they failed before in social media, but they do have a lot of the information and data needed in order to build a successful social media platform. So that's an opportunity for Alphabet. There's also a rise in gaming, so they can benefit from Google Play and they try to create a business in which they have their own in-house gaming. And finally, remote work. With the increase of remote work and online activities, Alphabet Inc. has a potential to grow in an opportunity in remote work. The threats are the antitrust law I mentioned before and tensions with China. The one that actually launched the cyber attack on Alphabet Inc. was China back in 2010, and China also has a lot of censorship limitations that affect Alphabet Inc. They are not able to let their businesses comply with them, mainly YouTube, for example. Now, for strategic position, environmental stability. Now, digital advertising is on the rise, especially now because people are spending their time online. There is an increasing demand in online businesses, online schooling, and just internet services in general. Economic circumstances. Yes, there are unstable economic circumstances, especially with the issue with Russia and UK, but Alphabet is able to thrive, especially because it's in the tech field. So it's able to thrive in such an environment. Everything's going online, even with the exchange rate issues, they are benefiting from it. Public pressure, there, like I said before, politically, there's a lot of public pressure for Alphabet to stop the offshore accounts and for the antitrust law. Industry strength. There is a lot of growth potential for tech field. It's a constantly changing, constantly advancing environment. The same goes for the profit potential, especially in AI and 5G. Currently, the most important is AI and developing, and the second important is 5G. 5G, like there was a Cold War and the space race, 5G is the new space race. Whoever can successfully deploy 5G will win in the long run, will have an immeasurable amount of financial growth and profit. Global reach. Now, due to the nature of the tech industry, it has a wide global reach. Many people can use it, a wide consumer base, and very flexible and versatile in terms of trying to accommodate it to country culture by changing the language settings and so on. Difficulty of entry. It is difficult to enter the tech field, the high barrier of entry. You need a lot of starting money and starting to start a business, assets, physical and so on, etc. Financial strength, the same as mentioned before, a high liquidity, high cash and cash equivalents, a high return on investment, return on assets, stocks, and marketable securities. This is in the case of Alphabet. As for competitive advantage, they are the same advantages: technological, brand reputation, high market share, trust, and the rest, less control. No, they're not controlling their subsidiary CEOs. Their major opportunity and threat. Their major opportunity is the social media boom, as I mentioned before, and the major threat is the antitrust law being passed. Now, strategy objective. The strategy for Alphabet Inc. is a marketing objective, which is to improve and increase Alphabet's market share in social media by 5% by the end of 2024. They have two options. Option one, which is they acquire a social media platform that's already ready-made, they have the consumer base, and option two, they increase their investment in research and development in social media platform and the social media trends to improve the RCS. RCS is their current endeavor in terms of social media. It's a live chat similar to SMS. SMS is currently going down, so RCS can also go down if they don't invest in it properly and do proper study on trends. And option one in acquiring social media, there has been a recent change and update. I was going to say they should acquire BuzzFeed, but right now, Elon Musk is no longer acquiring Twitter. Twitter has a ready-made consumer base already there present for Alphabet, and Alphabet has the businesses that have the right tools in order to handle Twitter's issues of Twitter bots and spam bots. So not only can they acquire Twitter now, they can improve it, and if they can improve it, then they will get this increase in social media market share. The difference between these two options, these are both offensive. They're offensive, they're tackling their competitors head on by trying to enter the social media industry and getting their own product there, or in the case of option one, acquiring Twitter and improving it even more. They are both aiming for growth. However, option one is inorganic, while option two is organic. Option one is inorganic because it relies on acquisition of Twitter, while option two is organic because it relies on the development of the interior of the already present product of RCS at Alphabet Inc. Option one is broad, option two is narrow. Option one is marketing focusing on the product. Option two is a value chain focusing on the service, because as the service is RCS, which is already existent in Alphabet Inc. Whilst marketing, they're trying to improve their position by by acquiring a new product, which is a Twitter in this case. Now, for the strategic options matrix, the strategic options matrix, based on the criteria, there have been some changes because I did change option one from BuzzFeed to Twitter. So right now, option one is more favorable than option two based on consistency, validity, feasibility, business risk, and flexibility. Now, quick recap for the plan. They want to increase their social media market share by 5% by the end of 2024. If they go with option one, which is the acquisition, with the size of Twitter's consumer base and the advantage they have because of Alphabet's other business subsidiaries, this is possible. They can even go higher than 5%. Option two, it will take a bit of more work in research and development. If they can keep up with the social media trends in order to improve RCS to meet the social media user needs. That's it. Thank you. I had to make alterations because of the internet, but can't be helped. This is Lebanon. This is the Wi-Fi here. Yeah. Bye.